In this luxury travel case are probably two of the best everyday Rolex watches that you might want to consider before I show you exactly which models they are. First things first, in 2024, if you're planning on deciding or picking up a Rolex watch, quite a few different models that you might want to consider. However, my experience, I've owned watches, I've owned a whole range of different watches, including various models of the Rolex watches, and these two are probably the best everyday watches that I would recommend. Now, I've selected them for two specific reasons. Number one, these are models that are going to be a perfect two-piece Rolex collection. So that means you get the best of casual, as well as perhaps times when you might want to dress them up. The second reason I've selected these are purely down to the fact that, let's face it, it's very difficult to get a brand new Rolex from your authorized dealer. These watches are watches that are not on the higher end. It's not going to be impossible to get hold of them. You might have to wait a couple of months, but even if you decide not to go down the authorized dealer route, you can still pick these up from the gray market. And the difference between the retail prices and the current gray market prices now are not that too high. So it might be worth considering from that perspective. So the first watch that I've taken out of the case is this, the quintessential Rolex. The Rolex Datejust, which was actually released back in 1945, it was the world's first self-winding watch with that date functionality, which you can see over there. It is a stunning, stunning watch. I absolutely love this. And my particular model comes with this Jubilee bracelet, and it comes with this smooth bezel, this beautiful, beautiful blue dial. And yeah, this watch really is the 41 millimeter reference 126300 variation of the Datejust. Now the Datejust comes in a range of different sizes. The 41 millimeter is the largest of those sizes, but you can get this in a smaller size. And really, this is probably one of the big standouts of the Datejust. It's the reason why Rolex, it's the best-selling Rolex amongst their catalog, because there are a ton of different customizations. You get this for males, you get this for females. You know, if you don't want this Jubilee bracelet, you want an oyster bracelet, you can go with that. If you wanted an 18 karat white gold roller saw fluted bezel, you can opt with that. If you don't like blue, perhaps you want to go with green, perhaps you want diamond on those dials as an option, then you can actually opt for all of that. And that is the reason why I picked this. It is on the more affordable size in terms of buying this from your authorized dealer. It will vary in pricing depending on the dial, depending on the color, depending on if you get diamonds, for example, or if you decide to go with the fluted bezel. Incidentally, for me, when I was deciding on a more dressier watch, I opted for this because I wanted it still to remain more sporty. So that's why I've gone with this blue dial, Jubilee bracelet, and with a smooth bezel. It's certainly a watch that I wear a lot of. Surprisingly, I own quite a few watches. This watch is the one that gets the most attention. It is noticeably Rolex. If that's something that you want to go with, then certainly worth considering with a Datejust, because from a mile away, you know it's a Rolex. The Datejust really symbolizes and encapsulates everything that is synonymous with Rolex. Now, the second watch that I'm going to take out of this case is the stunning Rolex Submariner. Now, this particular model was introduced back in 1954. It's synonymous with like James Bond. It's synonymous as a tool watch, very different from the Datejust, which I showed you earlier on. But this is a very, very interesting and good watch worth considering. Now, this particular model is the reference 126610 LV, and it's known for LV because of that green bezel. Now, the newer model has the black dial, as you can see there, complemented with that green bezel. This particular model that I'm showing you is a bit of a cheat because it's quite difficult to get hold of unless you are a VIP customer. So getting this particular model from the authorized dealer is going to be a challenge. However, the Submariner range as a whole is certainly worth considering. It's worth considering because this also comes with a no date variant, which has a black bezel. You also get the date Rolex Submariner that has a black bezel. Those two are easier to get hold of relatively from an authorized dealer. The no date will be easier than the date version. You may have to wait, close to a year, perhaps even longer than that. But if you can pick that up from an authorized dealer, it's well worth the wait. If not, then if you consider the no date variant of the Rolex Submariner, you can actually pick that up for very, very close from the gray market or from the market value or authorized sellers when compared with the authorized dealers. So the difference, at least here in Dubai, and I know in other parts of the world as well, the difference between those two isn't as high. It is a much more casual everyday watch. It has an oyster bracelet, as you can see here, which is brushed, which means that if you scratch it up, it's going to be harder to show up. So it's great for those casual situations. You have a unidirectional, which means it just rotates in one way bezel. This was originally designed as a dive watch. It was designed so that you'd be able to tell how much time you have left in your oxygen tank. You can now use this to time your, I don't know, your boiled eggs or how long you have left for parking. So it's still functional in that respect. Maintain its value as well. Both of these watches that I mentioned, depending on the dial and the variant that you get with the Datejust, is gonna hopefully maintain the value. It might drop a little, but at least with the Submariner, it should maintain its value, might even go up over time. Now, talking of Rolex watches, once you do get your Rolex models, you might be looking for a good travel case. You've got a really nice case that has this Saffiano leather on the front. Now, it comes in a range of different colors. If you like the Tiffany blue, then it might be worth considering that. I've opted for a more sort of neutral monochromatic gray, and I love this velvet contrast inside. You get this beautiful felt inside. You get the logo, it's called Tempo Matte, and they're manufactured in Spain, in Madrid. So highest quality that you can expect for a travel case. It's quite light considering the shape. It does have this kind of oval shape as well, so that helps to use it in terms of transportation, but also when it's on the desk. Now, the pillows that come inside are very interesting. So the pillows have these ridges on the side, but those ridges help because you can actually easily slide the watches in very, very comfortably. And one of the things I like about the fact is that once they slide in, you'll notice that the watches don't actually touch the back of the actual case, nor do they kind of touch the bottom. So they're almost floating there in the case. It's a really nice and very simple way of having the different pouches stored within the watch case. And then they have these nice buttons on the front that you can seal up, and then you're ready to go away like that. Opening the case as well is very easy, and obviously taking them out is easily done as well. And yeah, overall, definitely worth considering if you are planning on getting a travel case for your watch collection. They make them in a single one and a 3 variant of this particular model. So that's my 2-piece Rolex collection for everyday use. Let me know what you think, and if you think there are other models that I perhaps should have mentioned, let me know in the comments down below. And if you're new here and want to see more content related to luxury, lifestyle, and technology, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got more content, including the vlog of when I purchased this brand new Rolex Daytona, so do check that out over here. I'll see you there next. Until next time, I'm Kwan, over and out. Peace and blessings.